Why Rust? You wrote a book about it. It's a big commitment. So, both in a technical sense and, is it enjoyable to use?
How many people have ever heard about this programming language? 3, 4, okay, heard. I started working in developer relations, which is basically more about creating events, creating videos about programming. So, and especially the role that I had since 2021, it involved a lot of the community part. So not much the coding part, but more about events, podcasts, whatever, post on social media and so on. So I said, okay, Francesco, if you stop coding for too long, you will just forget everything about programming. So I said, okay, I need to learn a technology that maybe it makes me feel that I still can code or I can build some projects. And in the meanwhile, I can even create some content because I already had a YouTube channel back then. So after a while, I decided to try something which was sort of stable, because a framework might be not that stable because there are too many JavaScript frameworks, I think. One of the most interesting parts, it was the memory management. So how many of you have ever worked with, for example, C, C++ with alloc and malloc? So basically you have to allocate memory, okay? Right. Okay, maybe you also worked with languages like JavaScript, Python. Okay, so you all know what a garbage collector is. Okay, so usually high-level languages, they use garbage collectors. You don't have to deal with memory. So there are basically these two choices, right? So one choice is to deal with memory, and the other one is that you just forget about it. What's the downside of a garbage collector? For some milliseconds, microseconds, your program freezes. Sometimes this is fine. Sometimes we really don't care about performances. JavaScript and Python will not stop existing because of Rust. In Rust, they decided to do something which is not what is happening in C and not what is in JavaScript and Python. I like the idea that it had something unique. And this, for example, is already enough for me to just trying it out after this lesson, because it's something unique. I say, okay, this is interesting. The idea is to have a language which is a high-performant language that also has many cool features. One of my favorite features is that it's a compiled programming language, but the errors you get from the compiler, they are very explicit. Have you ever had to deal with Java in your life? I'm sorry. For example, in Java, when we have an error, we need to check the code rather than the error. Usually I ignore what the Java compiler tells me. I say, okay, so this is just a long backtrace of error, red thing, and that, okay, let's just check the code. In Rust, the compiler, it's very explicit, a bit verbose, but it explains exactly what you should do. And this is really addicting, I would say. So after a while, you start missing it. It can be used in systems programming. I'm a huge fan of using Rust, for example, as a backend technology, very performant. A web server in Rust consumes 4 megabytes of RAM, not typo, for 5 megabytes in production. I've done videos so to check it. It's not, I'm not selling it. I like the idea that we can use AI to create some code which is efficient, and then we can still change it after. So probably in the future we will move more to some more efficient languages, because in the past we decided to use a less efficient language because of the developer experience. So, okay, it's easier to create this program with this language, so let's do it like this. But now that AI can create the code for us, maybe we can move just a bit lower. Now it really makes sense. If I can write this program in 2 different languages, wow, why not? This is a quite long book, and this is also the physical part. The online version is also has 200 more pages. So it's hard to compress now in just a single answer. I think that betting on a new technology, a new language, it might make you stand out.